Tonight, hope for a peaceful and fair elections for Nigerians in the diaspora, even in the face of Boko Haram threat. We see how the Nigerian community here in the littoral region is mobilized ahead of tomorrow's polls. And also in this newscast, Cameroon continues to feature on the list of polio-infected countries in the continent despite assurance from the World Health Organization. Stay with us for the details. Good evening to televiewers. Welcome you to join us in this edition of the news on Equinox Television. In less than 24 hours, Nigerians would be going to the polls to elect their new president. 14 candidates would contest in the elections, but the principal tussle would be between the incumbent Goodluck Jonathan of the PDP party and Muhammadu Buhari of the APC. Goodluck Jonathan would be seeking a second and final term. Early last February, the elections were postponed due to security concerns. The Nigerian army today said that it has retaken the northeastern town of Goza, believed to be the headquarters of Boko Haram. They said that several terrorists died in the process and many captured as well. Now, Nigeria's two main or principal candidates have signed an agreement to prevent violence in a tightly contested elections that will take place tomorrow, Saturday. Former military ruler Abdul Salami Abubakar brokered a deal in talks between Goodluck Jonathan and his main challenger Muhammadu Buhari. The two accepted to respect the outcome of the polls and urged their supporters to refrain from violence. Some 800 people were killed after the 2011 contest between the same two rivals. Yesterday was final day of the campaigning. Now, a transparent and hitch-free elections is what Nigerians in the diaspora are hoping for, and as they prepare to witness Nigeria's tightly contested elections, Nigerians overseas can only journey to their country to be able to take part in the elections. The Nigerian community here in the economic capital, Douala, received the team of reporters of Equinox Television, and amongst them was senior reporter Chris Toby. He tells us more in the following report.
Another historic page turns Saturday, March 28, when Nigerians must have gone to the polls to elect a new head of state for that country. And 24 hours before the clock marks stop on the campaign trains for Buhari and Jonathan Goodluck-led teams, Nigerians living in Cameroon are all minds and ears turned towards their fatherland for this history-making event. Is this giant of Africa ready for Saturday consultations? Is the question we put to the first Vice Consul for the Littoral and West regions. The level of preparedness by INEC, that is the Independent Electoral Commission, has gone very, very far, to the extent that they are now using what they call PVC, Permanent Voters Card, which is electronic. All this are being done to avoid any misgivings as to question of rigging and the rest of it. Nigerian borders, we learn, are unusually closed 72 hours before the D-Day. Why so? Partly because of security, and partly part of is part of measures to make sure that the elections go on hitch-free, in the sense that when you close your border, while you're expecting some kind of insecurity, the security operatives will be there to check. So, in essence, it means only those in the country are going to vote. Mohamed Aliyu Gubuchi puts some assurance on the availability of voting material nationwide. I can assure you, from the information we have, in all the state and local governments, all the materials necessary for the elections are there in place. So, which means everything is in order. There's at least 2 days to time, everywhere, every local government, every village. It's ready. Are all the 36 states that make up Nigeria, including the western northeastern part, to participate in this election? Yes, from the information yesterday, maybe only 1 or 2 local governments, but the elections will take place in all 36 states. But possibly, even the 2 local governments they are mentioning, perhaps by today or tomorrow, they will be cleared. And people will be so scared that they can go and vote the candidate of their choice at peace.
Nigerians living in Cameroon, at least for the most part, have traveled for the exercise, says Dr. Aziz, who heads the union.
Many of them, that they know that they have their PVC, what we call in Nigeria permanent voters card. Many of them have traveled because they want to take part of these votes.
But all said and done, Nigerians have a dream.
Our wish and hope is that the election will go so very well, and that we will have a very good government that is going to govern Nigeria, that is going to make Nigeria, lift Nigeria high, to make Africa proud. That has been the brain behind every Nigerian's dream. And we are praying and hoping that by the grace of God, we will attain that.
Hopefully, heaven should help them attain their goal so as to set example for other countries in Africa to follow.
Just how Nigerians here in the economic capital Douala are mobilized ahead of tomorrow's elections compiled by senior reporter Chris Toby. Now, the German prosecutors who are still out of Cameroon have said that the co-pilot suspected of deliberately crashing a German-wings airliner in the French Alps concealed details of his illness. Turn-up sick notes were found in the home of Andreas Lubitz, that is his name, with another for the day of the crash. The illness was not named, but reports say that the co-pilot had mental problems. He is said to have suffered depression and needed ongoing assessment. Owners of the Germanwings have announced new rules for co-pilots never to be allowed alone in the cockpit. The plane, which left Barcelona for Spain Tuesday, crashed, killing 150 people on board. And as far as the portrait of the co-pilot that allegedly caused the crash is concerned, the 28-year-old started training in 2008, worked as a co-pilot from 2013. His training was interrupted for some months in 2009 when he reportedly suffered a depressive episode requiring treatment. He later passed all necessary tests and was deemed fit to fly. Investigation still underway. Now, the President of the Republic of Cameroon and wife Chantabia are back to the country after their close to 1 month private stay in Europe. The presidential couple arrived at the Simaleng airport in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. That was some few minutes ago. The head of state left Cameroon in the midst of Boko Haram insurgents, and critics have qualified it as proof of negligence to the defense forces fighting Boko Haram in the far north region of the country. Now, municipal councillors at the Douala 5 Council are demanding the strict implementation of the law on decentralization during the election of a new mayor to replace the late mayor of the Douala 5 municipality, Francois Foning, who died last January. The party wants the ruling CPDM to hand over to the opposition SDF. For Hansen Chanji has the details. The report of Hansen Chanji looking at the demands of the principal opposition party in Cameroon as far as the election of the new mayor in the Douala 5 municipality is concerned. The party wants the ruling CPDM to hand over to the opposition as far as the post of deputy mayor is concerned. Hansen Chanji has the details. We surely shall be coming back to the report on Hansen in this newscast or in our subsequent editions. Now, the 10 water tanks that have stopped functioning in some parts of the country is the main reason behind the acute water shortage plaguing several regions across Cameroon. Stakeholders in the water and energy sector disclosed that they disclosed the information as they met to seek lasting solutions to the problems that was today in Yaoundé. They equally said that water scarcity in Bamenda and Ebolova would in few days be history. Residents in Ebolova have been for days without potable water. And let's now hope that the outcome of that meeting would be a solution to residents of Ebolova, south region of the country that are forced to travel even right to Equatorial Guinea to be able to fetch the precious liquid. They have been for several days now without potable water, as Jack Ekwekinge tells us in the following report.
Potable water has become very rare, like dog's tears in the town of Ebolova. For weeks now, pipes of the water distributing company, the Camerounais des Eaux, have remained dry. This situation is causing enormous hardship to the inhabitants, who now are forced to wake up very early and move for long distances in search of the precious liquid. The affluents, usually witnessed at these water sources, have urged many to stay awake in order to get even a drop for their daily house chores. The inhabitants say it has been 3 weeks running without potable water. This has forced them to get water from doubtful sources like wells, rivers and boreholes, with the risk of contracting waterborne diseases. The situation is not without any financial implication, as one has to disburse the sum of 200 francs CFA to get 20 liters of water. This problem of water shortage has also affected businesses in the South Regional Capital, especially with those doing in restoration. Report says this situation is also affecting neighboring villages around Ebolova, even up to the border town of Kiosi, where the inhabitants of this town now cross over to neighboring Equatorial Guinea to fetch for water. Inasmuch as they say water is life, authorities of the Camerounais des Eaux have remained mute and indifferent to the plight of the population. Meanwhile, they continue to slam the inhabitants with exorbitant water bills, and in the wake of non-payment, no effort is spared to be served a disconnection notice.
And Cameroon is yet to escape the wrath of polio, despite the recent declaration by the World Health Organization that it is a non-polio exporting country. Cameroon is still on the list of polio-infected countries in the continent. Roland Akong has the details.
Cameroon is still on the list of countries at high risk of polio, even though the WHO has declared it a non-exporting country of all polio virus. Cameroon is yet to escape the wrath of polio, a terrible disease of shame and disgrace.
The decision to reclassify Cameroon from a polio exporting country to a polio infected country results from the absence of new cases of poliomyelitis in Cameroon for over 6 months. The last cases were detected on 7th July 2014 in a refugee camp at Keti, East Region.
Observers say many other countries are fighting back and winning polio with vision and leadership, providing an example to other countries caught in the grip of polio to follow.
Hence, WHO is recommending that vaccination measures be maintained for travelers at entry points of the country, and especially the need to strengthen the control measures, including epidemiological surveillance, cross-border activities, and good documentation of all response activities.
Health experts say polio, which is tarnishing Cameroon's image since 1996, can be largely controlled through proper vaccination campaigns and proper implementation of the polio emergency plan.
And the post of the deputy mayor in the Douala 5 municipality should be given to the opposition. That is the view of some municipal councillors in the Douala 5 municipality as they await the election of a new mayor. Municipal councillors at the Douala 5 municipality are demanding the strict implementation of the law on decentralization during the election of the new mayor that's going to be replacing the late mayor, Francois Foning. A reporter for Hansen Chanji has the details. And of course, we surely shall be coming back to that report in our subsequent newscast. Bringing us to the end of this first segment of the news. Up next is Talking Point. In the economic capital Douala, precisely in Kumba, Bonaberi, Douala 4 municipality, it is 1 year now that dozens of families have been facing tough times, hard times to send children to school, hard times to put food on the table, and even tough times to have a place to sleep. Joining us tonight on Talking Point is one of those who were amongst the victims of the demolition at Nkumba. That was 1 year ago. Their houses were destroyed and even properties as well. Good evening to you, Mr. Ajang Divine. We thank you so much for joining us tonight on Talking Point.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Tonight you are coming to tell us how you have been able to pick up the broken pieces 1 year after your house was demolished in the Douala 4 municipality. How has life been 1 year or 12 months after?
Exactly, it has been a year that our houses were demolished at the Nkumba neighborhood, but since the destruction, no infrastructure has taken place there. The only thing that you can find at the site is people who are, the bandit, and the only infrastructure found there is the people's ID card. In fact, nothing has been done there. Even a pole has been pinned there to show that Masi is going to use the place, rendering thousands of people homeless, and about 10,000 houses were destroyed, but yet nothing has taken place there as infrastructure.
So you think that it was unjustified for them, even if the land was actually a property of Maxi, they would have given you people more time rather than leaving the site abandoned? That is what you think?
That is what I think. No, nothing. Yes, after massive destruction, they would have shown us a site to go and patch ourselves. Some of us have become a burden to our families. Some of us have become parasiters, and that happened towards the end of the academic year. Many children lost their academic year like that without schooling.
So how has it been like your children in particular? Tell us how it has been with them after you were sent out.
Normally, after the demolition of our houses, I was passing to a friend. It became a burden to him with children. At the end,
how many children are we talking about?
3 children plus a wife, making 4 of us who went and parasite to a friend. But I think it was a burden to him. He could not accommodate us up to now. So we're forced to go and rent a studio, which yet is still accommodating us. We're used to being in our houses comfortably, but now life is not easy with us. And
have you been able to meet other victims that were faced with the same situation? How is it to them? Maybe your own situation may be better. Yes. Others who cannot even have a shelter.
Some of them lost their job. Take, for instance, a school like People Progressive that was destroyed. Many of them went home. They went to their villages because they could not cope up with life here in Douala.
And what about the school that was demolished? The future of the pupils and the teachers of the institution, it was alleged that it was going to be integrated in another school that was actually operating several months after. Was it the case?
Yeah, the proprietor of the same institution had another site at ABEGA, but they were close to 2,000 people who were schooling in that institution. Could all of them go to ABEGA? No. Many of them have, and some of them have gone to other schools.
As far as compensation is concerned, how far are you gone with? Have you received anything from the government or from Maxi itself?
The government itself has forgotten the incident. They are not even talking about the incident again since 1 year ago.
They are not talking about it?
Nothing.
What have you done at your level, individual levels, to make sure that...
Normally they took our names immediately after the incident. But since they took our name, nothing has been said concerning that again.
Do you have a spokesperson, a representative of all the victims that is following up the matter for you?
The chief of, quarter head who took our name, he himself, we don't know his whereabouts since everything was scattered.
So no follow-up?
No follow-up.
No idea?
No idea.
What is happening?
No idea.
So when they were collecting the names, what did they say?
That the Maxi is going to compensate us.
And up to now, nothing has been done. So now, taking a look at a few days after, legal minds too were coming in to see how they could maybe seek legal redress as far as the precarious situation was concerned. How far are we with the issue of lawyers that came in maybe to intervene in the matter?
Yeah, they came to intervene into matter, but yet it ended at that level.
Nothing has been done.
Nothing has been done.
So what has been your cry ever since the incident occurred up to now? What has been your worry? What has been your cry?
Our worry is that, you know, when you lost your dear one and he has been buried without him, you've seen him, you forgot. But as far as we are seeing the place and nothing has been done there, it still remains, it is a bitter in our mind. And
what is there anything that you're demanding that should be done and it's not been done?
Yeah, we are still, we forward our names to the government, but nothing. They are not even talking about it again.
Probably those that were in charge of following up the matter are not doing their job properly.
They are not doing their job properly.
So would you people leave it that way, or you're looking forward to doing something?
Obviously, we can't leave it like that.
What are your plans?
Our plans is that we have to forward. No, after 1 year and there's no reaction for the government or their intervention, we think that we better look at another means to follow up the matter.
How?
Maybe by channeling the matter to the head of state.
Himself?
Yes.
How many of you are we talking about here?
Now, we're a group of us, we're about 13 of us who wanted to follow up the matter. We saw one barrister, one lawyer, but he said that cannot be done by individual because many of us were involved.
So now, what do you have to tell maybe other people that were victim of a similar incident? What do you have to tell them?
Yeah, I'll seize this opportunity to tell them that we should meet as usual, as we have a meeting point where we used to meet and discuss our matter there. So if there is, thank you very much for this opportunity. I know most of them are watching at me now and the news. I wonder we should meet on Sunday, as usual, to discuss our matter. So if the government can hear our plight.
So you're always meeting to see how you can seek a solution to
yes, we used to meet.
The disturbing problem. Now, how does it feel as a Cameroonian citizen that such a thing happens to you and your family? Up to now, nothing has been done. Is it a positive sign to you as a Cameroonian? Does it make you feel at home?
Since then, life has not been easy for us. And when I'm passing there, you know, when I'm passing there around the site, I feel ashamed. I cannot remember. I picture how the structure of my house, the foundation. In fact, it still remains bitter in my mind.
How much are we talking about here as far as your loss was concerned, in terms of when we calculate the material as well as the financial damage that you lost? How much did you approximately lost here? Yeah,
the plot was bought for 450,000 francs. And then the house itself, it was 3 sleeping room, 1 parlor, a kitchen, and a toilet. So after all the expenditure, it was amounting to 7 million. If I can lose such amount, then what of those who have mansions, 3 floors, 4 floors?
And after that, maybe some of the residents have been able to find or seek refuge just nearby, still in Bonaberi, in the Douala municipality.
Yes, person like myself, I'm not far from the place. That is why I cannot forget the incident. It's like someone has lost his dear one, and when you see the grief of the person, you remember how dear the person was to you. Whenever I'm passing there, the picture of my house still remain in my mind.
Apart from taking this problem, maybe hoping that Maxi might be a solution, and the quarterhead that you equally mentioned, have you equally sought the assistance of an authority, maybe in the region, maybe before talking to the head of state? Have you sought the aid of an authority in Cameroon?
Normally, after the incident, we wrote to the senior divisional officer for Wuri. He promised to channel the matter to the governor. But since then,
nothing has
been done.
Let's hope that 1 year after, the senior divisional officer, the authorities that be in general are going to look into the situation, and hoping that you get to also mobilize yourself, bring yourselves together, and get a lasting solution to the crisis, because we are talking about thousands of people here.
I mean, thousands of people, close to 10,000 houses were demolished. And you can't imagine the number of people that has been rendered homeless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ajang Divine.
Thank you
for joining us tonight on Talking Point. We hope to have you some other time again.
Thank you very much.
So our viewers, it was equally a wonderful pleasure having you with us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Until we meet again, goodbye.
Goodbye.